I hope this is a good level for everyone to listen to. Welcome, and please grab a coffee when you haven't had it yet, or a tea. And unfortunately, we couldn't be in the church tonight, which I normally love because then we have a bit of more space. That when you get a little bit sleepy, you can doze away on the couch or something. But there's still couches here, so I'm never offended. I always think that when people fall asleep during performances, they feel very much at home. So I'm not offended. In case you, just when you start snoring, then I'll probably will interrupt. Thank you for coming. Did everyone have cake and coffee and tea? Okay. Now afterwards, you're very, very welcome to join us for a little garden party. I think the weather is even improving since a few hours, so we will have some wine or other drinks in the garden, so that we can move on to that. So do find a seat. The theme is, where are you staying? And it's a quote from the Revised Standard Version of the New Testament. It's a question in John 1. And people who've known me well know that I love reading John's Gospel, and I always feel very much inspired. Now, it's a question by Jesus' followers who say, "Where are you staying, teacher? Where are you staying?" And in a way, it's the question that's is at the beginning of the Gospel that Jesus takes as a starting point to let his disciples follow him. And so I've often ask the same question: Lord, where are you staying in this? Where are you staying? Where can I find you? And so, to me, it's a very personal theme. Just aware that I need to switch off my mic. Now, this evening is slightly different from other St. John evenings. I would like to mix my songs, and it's not that I think they are as good, but I would like to mix my songs with songs of the shows that I've known for a number of years. Most of them I've known quite well, and it's a little bit like my favourite writer, Hella Haase in the Netherlands. She said that when she was writing her books, quite often, at some point, her characters became friends of hers. So almost, when she was in the house and doing something, she would have an imaginary conversation with her characters. And my singing teacher used to say to me with songs that I was practicing, "Oh, Kerst, you have to live with these songs." And there are a few pupils here. Cool. And I often say to you, you have to befriend this song. It kind of needs to grow with you. It needs to become part of your life. And that's with these songs. But many of these songs have become sort of friends of mine. And you may wonder why I choose songs of the shows to relate to truths in the Gospel of John. Well, it's a little bit like Jesus, who uses parables or symbols from everyday life. And I think, when, for instance, where are you staying? It's about where are you present? How can we find your presence? These songs may just help to bring more depth in how we can find God's presence and how we can think about God's presence and see more meaning in that. So there are a few themes like presence and home, which I would like to address tonight. So I think the themes that I'm talking about are not themes that I haven't discussed with you before on evenings like this. It's just with these Song of the Shows that might just have a little bit of a different light or a different colour to it. Now, for your own reference of when you want to take this home with you, I put some quotes from John's Gospel. And so the first section is about God's presence. And John 1 verse 38 is the quote where Jesus says, where the disciples say, "Where are you staying?" And then the following quote is Jesus who's saying, "The one who sent me is always with me." And so that's what he said about God's presence. He knew God's presence was with him always. And then in chapter 20, verse 21, Jesus has, after the resurrection, has come to the disciples again. And he says, "The way I've been sent, I sent you." So in a way, he says, well, when I was sent, my sender was always with me. So the one who sent you is also with you. And that's my interpretation, of course, but that's the kind of the aspect of God's presence being always with us. And then in chapter 12, there's a saying of Jesus, which has a lot of depth, is where Jesus says, well, wherever I am, that's where my servant also will be. So, in the Gospel of John, there's a string of verses about the presence of God. And I think, I just hope that, tonight we can invite God's presence into our lives, and in this place, with maybe a deeper meaning and a deeper understanding. So shall we just pray before we continue?